Hi there, this is Jay here from Jeremy Jacob Letting Specialist. So I'm particularly interested in obviously owning and running a lettings agency and wider estate agency and just generally business with regards to the estate agency Douglas and Gordon. Now, if you haven't heard about Douglas and Gordon, they are an estate agency that have had a really long and great reputation, certainly in West London and South West London over the years. I remember working for other estate agencies in my younger days and always looking at the Douglas and Gordon brand and just being quite impressed by them and the type of staff that they employed. A good agency that had a really good reputation. Within the last, I think it's a year or so, Foxtons acquired Douglas and Gordon's lettings portfolio arm, and I think Douglas and Gordon, without knowing all the ins and outs of the particulars, was left with the sort of sales arm and with an opportunity to try and rebuild their lettings portfolio. And I think they've struggled a little bit, and unfortunately it had led them into going into administration. Now, if you go Googling about what's been going on, it looks like Douglas and Gordon are about to re-emerge, and I don't really care to want to get into the politics of what's happened there. You can leave that to Google. But what I'm interested in is Douglas and Gordon may seemingly going down a different approach, which I kind of like in this modern era of estate agency. The world is changing and you have to think on your feet, and the word pivot comes to mind, and I think from what I have read they might be doing it. So what have they done? It would appear Douglas and Gordon are going to have another crack at it. They're going to keep the name, and they have registered an office in Manchester. Now, Douglas and Gordon are an estate agency that have the brand, the focus, the reputation. It's all been built on West London, places like Chelsea, South Kensington, Fulham, Putney, Battersea. That's where all the dedication has been over the years. So why go and register an office in Manchester? Well, I think it's quite clever potentially if this is what they're doing. I'm just guessing. I'm kicking tires with you at the moment. So they've gone and registered their office in Manchester, and I believe that operating a central hub office location outside of London, in the second largest city in the UK, which technically isn't, if you go and Google, I think it's Birmingham actually, but economically, I think it's safe to say Manchester is the second largest economy in the UK. Labour will be much cheaper up there. I think it's great for Manchester in terms of more employment. They will open a central office hub, and they'll have their dedicated bookings team, valuations team, property management, deal chasing, paperwork. All of that will be based in Manchester. So what does it leave for Douglas and Gordon in West London and South West London? Well, I don't think there will need to be any offices actually. This is the thing. I think modern estate agency has changed. You don't need an office shop front. What you need is great connections, great reputations, word of mouth following, and we're all advertising our properties online now. We're using social media, we're using Rightmove, we're using Zoopla, and I believe that's how they'll continue to operate. So I can't see them trying to launch and rent and sell property in Manchester, not at all. I think what they'll do is they'll likely have their team of negotiators and valuers living and working in West London and South West London. But there's no office, so how will they do it? I think they'll work from home. I think they'll work from their laptops from home. They'll get in their cars or their other modes of transport, and they'll go and do their valuations, take their pictures, organise the pictures, come back to their laptops at home, and then process them, and then go about their good work of trying to rent or sell the property. You see, we don't need a physical office location. I think the challenge for Douglas and Gordon, though, will be keeping those people engaged. I'm personally, I think you can only do so much with Zoom calling. I think you do need to have people in a space together. And certainly the ones, if they are in Manchester, they'll be able to high five and meet up and socialise and have a great buzz after work. The ones down in London, though, they'll have to come up with some strategies to keep engagement and keep everyone connected. So that's what I predict will maybe happen. I think potentially these negotiators and valuers may be on structures where they might have a self-employed status connected to what they're doing, or possibly they could be given a low basic and a high stakes commission, or even possibly commission only. Eat what you kill is a phrase we use in sales, and I have seen a popularity in recent years of modern estate agents doing this as a strategy with their workers. So I'm interested in it because we at Jeremy Jacob are a forward-thinking agency. We are approaching actually a decade of being in business, and we have benefited from being nimble and lean and covering wider afield and being from a central hub. It's actually worked really well in our favour, and I think that as the world is changing, we've been fortunate that we were one of the earlier adopters to do it. But I think more estate agencies are going to be going down this route. The likes of Rightmove and Zoopla, they're increasing their costs all the time. I mean, the way it's going, it's a salary. How much they charge now, where it is a salary. So it's all interesting. I just wanted to share my thoughts as a business owner in the industry. And I think that remember, I'm just taking a stab in the dark, just sort of connecting the dots a little bit. But I think if Douglas and Gordon are going down this route, I believe that they can retain the brand and they can come out the other side and still be a success as a brand. So that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed. All the best. Bye.